Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Savita ma'am.
Good afternoon, family.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, sir. Good evening. We have
Good evening, Savita ma'am.
good evening.
Good evening, Savita ma'am.
Good evening, Pushpanjali.
Good evening, Savita ma'am.
Namaste, ma'am.
Namaste, sir.
Savita ma'am, good morning. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, Savita ma'am. Very good
evening.
evening, ma'am.
Good evening. Good
Good
evening.
evening, ma'am. Good evening,
Good
सबको.
evening. Good evening, Rashmi. Okay, I think we have 16 participants. We'll wait for some time. Right? The recording is in progress, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, Mama teacher. Good evening, Savita ma'am.
Good evening, Dipti. How are you?
Fine.
Okay. DAV 2022.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. Ankita, how are you?
I'm fine.
Good evening, sir. Good evening. So please switch off your mics. Rashmi, Ritu ma'am, Ramkrishna Singh sir, Ramkrishna Singh sir.
नमस्ते मैम. नमस्ते मैम.
Namaste sir. थोड़ा सा mic if you could please mute your mic sir. Sir, there is so much of disturbance when the mic is on, sir. So it will be better if the mics are muted.
Good evening, Savita ma'am.
Good evening.
Good
evening, Savita madam.
Good evening. Good evening, Mona Lisa. Good evening. Good evening. It's really nice to see all of you. Isn't it?
It's nice to attend your session, ma'am.
My pleasure, ma'am. My pleasure. Absolutely my pleasure. So should we start? I think it is just 5 o'clock. So let's wait for 2 minutes so that
Good evening, ma'am.
good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, Shavita ma'am.
Good evening. Good evening, Pandey sir. Or should I call you Sagar sir?
Sure.
Pandey sir has just awakened up from a good sleep.
No,
it
no,
seems.
no. He was in a meeting. He was in a meeting. He has attended the meeting and he has just come.
वो हमेशा लगता है कि हम सो के उठ रहे हैं.
Okay.
अभी वो सीओई का मीटिंग चल रहा था तरुण जी से, उसमें बाकी लोग भी थे, सर भी थे, तो इसी पे बात हो रही थी कि जो हम लोग का इन हाउस ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम है उसको और किस तरह से इफेक्टिवली या इसका सबमिशन कैसे होना है. लगभग 2 घंटे का मीटिंग था.
Okay, so it's a request to all of you to mute your mics if you are not using it. Please switch on the mic whenever you have to give the answers. Otherwise, it's a request to switch off the mics, to mute the mics. Should we start? We have more than 57 participants. Okay.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Rajesh Roshan, sir. Rajesh
Yes,
Roshan,
madam.
sir, please mute your mic. It's a request, sir. Please mute your mic.
Good evening, Savita ma'am.
Good evening, Pratima ma'am. Everything fine?
Good evening, ma'am.
Very
Good evening,
nice.
ma'am.
Good evening,
Good
Nazar.
evening, resource person. Good evening. Good
My
evening.
name is Savita Sinha, sir. Deepak sir.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, Savita ma'am. Good evening. I know your
Deepak
name.
sir. I also know your name, sir. We have met earlier also.
Yes, yes, yes.
गुड इवनिंग सविता मैडम.
Good evening, Salesh sir. आपकी तो आवाज ही पहचान में आती है.
गुड इवनिंग.
शैलेश सर की इतनी अच्छी आवाज है कि कोई भी पहचान सकता है. नमस्ते सर.
एकदम बिना देखे. Right.
ऐसा का इतना बुरा आवाज क्या, इतना
कड़क कड़क आवाज.
अरे नहीं सर,
Very
बहुत ही
forceful.
प्लीजेंट आवाज है, बहुत अच्छी आवाज है.
Forceful आवाज.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. So should we start, sir? Madams?
Namaste, madam. Namaste, madam.
Namaste, sir. PC Thakur, sir.
Almost we are 68 now, so we can start.
Namaste, ma'am.
Namaste, Praveen, sir.
Namaste, ma'am.
Namaste to everyone. So,
Good evening, Savita ma'am.
good evening, sir.
नमस्ते मैडम.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. So today, I welcome you all. The two languages which I know are written here, and all the other languages I do not know, but I welcome you in all the languages. Right. So it's a warm welcome to all of you.
Thank you, ma'am. Namaste, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am, in all the languages. Many, many thanks, ma'am.
Thank you, Sharda. So teaching English at secondary level and with special emphasis to teaching techniques to improve spoken English. Right. Let us go for the icebreaker. I would like some of you to please read this tongue twister. Any one of you who can opt for it, this.
Peter Piper
picked up pickled peppers.
Pickled papers. A peck
A
of
peck of pickled peppers. Peter Piper pickled. Peter Piper pickled a peck of
picked
pickled
a
peppers.
peck of pickled
Where's the
papers.
peck of pickled
Where
peppers?
is the peck of pickled
Peter
papers?
Piper
Peter Piper
pickled.
picked.
Picked a peck of pickled pepper.
Okay. There were so many who were speaking. Can I just ask one of you, Preeti ma'am, will you please read it?
Ma'am, should I read, ma'am? This is Preeti Singh from DAV. Participant, should I? Are you talking to me, ma'am?
Okay, Preeti Singh
Yes,
ma'am.
I'm reading it. I'm reading it, ma'am.
Another
Okay.
Preeti ma'am is there. Two of you. Okay, one by
Yeah,
one. You
yeah.
can have both of you. Please, ma'am. It's my
Okay,
pleasure.
okay. I'm
Okay,
starting.
Preeti. Yes, yes, Preeti
Sure,
ma'am.
ma'am. Sure, ma'am.
Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled paper. A peck of pickled papers. Peter Piper picked.
A bit faster.
If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled papers, where's the peck of pickled paper Peter picked?
And Geeta ma'am, will you
Yes.
please? Yes, Preeti ma'am.
Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. A peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, where's the peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked?
Claps for you, ma'am. Claps for you. Right? This is the,
Thank you so much, ma'am.
this is the tongue twister. And if it is not read a bit faster, it won't have the special effect. Your head should move like this. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled pepper, a peck of pickled pepper, Peter Piper picked. If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, where's the peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked? Anyone else?
Picked a peck of pickled
Yes, anyone
pepper. A
else?
peck of pickled peppers. Peter Piper picked. A Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Where is the peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked?
Thank you, Geeta ma'am. Thank you, Geeta ma'am. Wonderful.
Yes, ma'am.
Wonderful.
Peter Peppers pickled a peck of pickled pepper. A peck of pickled peppers. Peter
Chitra ma'am,
Piper
Chitra ma'am.
एक और आवाज आ रही है
Chitra ma'am, please.
Yes, ma'am. If Peter Pepper pickled a peck of pickled peppers, where's the peck of pickles peppers Peter Pepper's pickled?
There was a mistake, isn't it, ma'am? There was a Peter Picker peck. That is the beauty of the tongue twister. And there should be a mistake if we try it for the first time. So let us all see this, the principles of instruction, where we are going to emphasize on the one which is highlighted. There are 4 principles of teaching any subject, any language, anything. First is increased comprehension, where we have to use anything that we can use to make the student understand. It can be visual demonstration, or it can be the gestures that we use, or the facial expression that we use. It can be anything. And the second one on which we are going to emphasize is to increase the student-to-student interaction, where we are going to ask students to use English to accomplish academic tasks. Because as the teachers of English medium schools, we have to emphasize on the spoken English, which is quite lacking, which we all have seen in our school. So today we are going to focus on the second part. So when we ask anyone, what is your goal? And everyone, I think each one of us has this: I want to improve my speaking. Spoken English has become the standard, whether you go for the interview or anywhere. I don't think that English, this is something showing disrespect to other language, but yes, English as an international language has taken a step ahead of other languages, right? So what are the problems that we face? See, I have listed down 6 problems. Let us see what problem you have. Today we are asking about you, because we are going to transfer this to the children. The psychological factor, fear of unknown, hesitation and shyness, lack of environment, lack of vocabulary, and thinking in mother tongue. I would ask all of you, one by one, if you can say what is the problem that you face. Meera ma'am? what do you see in your students that they don't speak English? So why don't they speak in English? What is the problem that they face?
Vocabulary problem. Hesitation.
Yes.
Hesitation, ma'am. Hesitation.
environment, ma'am. Lack of environment.
Lack of
Yes.
environment also, ma'am.
Lack of environment. Very good.
Lack of
practice.
environment.
Lack of
I
environment.
think, Savita ma'am, I think major problem is thinking in mother tongue. As
Very good.
we think in mother tongue and we need to translate it, you know. So
Yes.
while we gather the words and we are just assembling the sentences and we are just translating it. So various multitasking processes are going on inside our brain.
Yes. So our generation
the
learned the
fear-
GTM.
The fear of getting wrong also stops them from giving the answer.
Yes, yes,
That
yes.
is also-
Fear of the unknown. Right. We are going
Yes,
to make mistakes. Right. We are going to
Yeah.
make mistakes.
Yes.
People will laugh at us. So what are we going to do?
Kindness.
Right. And then we had learned the-
Sometimes they don't find actual words. So they
Hmm.
hesitate in sharing those things. So they lack somewhere in communication skill.
Yes.
But English and communication skill is different thing, ma'am.
Definitely learning the grammar portion is as important as speaking in it. Right.
Mainly they fear what their friends will think and what they will feel if they speak wrong English, use wrong English words.
Yes.
The main thing is that they fear that their friends will laugh at them.
If they make the mistakes, they are going to make fun of them. Right.
Ma'am, family environment is also one of the part for
Yes,
the
yes,
spoken English.
yes, Alkesh, I said that is right, because the family does not support them. If they want to
Yes,
speak
ma'am.
English, even then they don't have the environment at home. Because most of the students, they come from middle class, and they don't have the parents who are going to speak, or the siblings who are going to speak. They are also speaking in their native language. Right?
Language.
एनवायरमेंट पे है मिडिल क्लास का इससे कोई रिलेशन नहीं है मिडिल क्लास वाले भी जहाँ
anyone.
वेस्टर्न में हैं
कहीं
तो
भी, right?
इंग्लिश तो जानते हैं अगर लैंग्वेज है उनका तो
No, we have children, especially from the middle class in our schools, right? So these children, they think that speaking in English at home, that is really not acceptable. So that is the environment that they have at home. Most of the students, I won't say all of them, but most of them, right? Most of them have this kind of environment. And one of them.
Savita ma'am, sometimes they don't know English, so they can't communicate. But ma'am, communication is different thing. Now it is just an art. How to express your ideas, your views.
You can express with the feature or gestures, facial gestures,
Yes,
or expressions.
body language,
That is
voice
different.
tonality.
That is different. Here we are talking about communicating in English. Communicating in English, because our school is an English medium school. So we have to make the student aware that they have to speak in English. They can communicate.
But most parents, when they come for PT meet, they emphasize this fact that we want that the children must speak in English.
Right.
This thing is there. They speak to us that we want that our children must speak in English. We have given him in an English medium school, but he hardly knows to speak
Express.
properly.
Right. Right. So we are facing these many.
That's the need for practice, ma'am. If you will practice,
Right.
whether
Let
with
us see.
friends or anyone, then only they will learn.
Yeah, Priti, we'll see what actually techniques I'll be showing you so that we can make these students speak in English. Right? Okay. So how to motivate the students to speak in English? First is practice speaking by yourself. How to speak by yourself. Ask these students that there is no magic pill that I'll give you today, and from tomorrow you are going to go on speaking in English. Right? So there is no magic pill. Tell them to speak whatever they speak, because this is not going to change. So when you speak English, there are two main difficulties: the mental difficulty and the physical difficulty. Mental difficulty, what we discussed, the absence of the proper words, right, coming to our mind. And the physical difficulty is pronouncing the English words correctly. because they may know the word, but they will, today while I was teaching, the word was milling and the student said miling. So miling is not the word, milling. So how to pronounce the word? That is the physical difficulty that the students as well as we also sometimes face. So what we have to do is talk to yourself in English loudly. Anything, ask the student to take up a book, any book, and read it loudly. The pronunciation will improve. Right? Or speak English spontaneously by yourself. Look at the mirror and start talking. Tell the students to look at the mirror and talk to yourself. Don't talk to others, talk to yourself. Right? The second is listen to more English. So how you are going to listen to more English? Speaking is okay, but listening is, it can be anything. Listen to the teacher. If you say that, they will say, oh, we listen to them for the 6 hours. Right? But
Ma'am, I always ask students to watch English movies.
Yes, watch movies. Right? I tell them to watch with English subtitles. Right? Okay.
Yeah.
They can listen to the earlier, if you remember, we used to listen to the BBC.
Yes, BBC and Voice of America.
Voice of America.
Yeah.
We have that memory. We cherish that memory. But today's children, they will never listen to this, isn't it? They will be thinking, oh, uthaya YouTube and now it is finished. We'll see it on YouTube. Right? So if they listen to the radio, because even today, I think radio is more authentic than the TV. So if they listen to the podcast or the radio or the music also, English music, if they listen, they are going to grasp some words, which they are going to.
Sports commentary, ma'am.
Sports right?
Commentary. Yeah.
Sports commentary, right? Sports commentary. And they don't like to listen in English. They would like to listen in Hindi. So
Hindi, yes.
Motivate them to listen to it in English so that their vocabulary increases, their speaking skills increase. Right? The third is reflect on your conversations. Now, reflect on your conversations means you'll have to think. Give some time. Okay, take a moment. Ask him to listen to something and then think. Have I understood this? Is it okay? How much I have understood? Right? Are there some words which are unknown to me? Right? If the child even thinks of it, then he is able to increase his confidence level. If he thinks, Arey Babre, I didn't understand this. So next time when it happens, he is going to correct himself. He is going to change, right? Because he will know that I have to concentrate on this. Then only I can understand this. Now this number 4 is unique. Record your voice. Have you ever tried this?
Yes, many a time.
In WhatsApp, ma'am.
In
WhatsApp.
Yes, many times.
Yes, ma'am. Many times we have listened.
Sending voice messages.
Yes, voice messages. So when you send the voice message, you listen to it. You say, my voice is so shrill. Right? Sometimes it occurs to me, my voice is so shrill. So sometimes I try to soften it. Thoda sa soft bole. But yes, try to record your voice and then listen to it. You'll find out what mistakes you are making, where you are fumbling, right? Usually we. Yes.
मैम आवाज आपकी क्लियर नहीं आ रही है। सारे पार्टिसिपेंट्स अगर माइक ऑन रखेंगे तो हमें कुछ नहीं सुनाई देगा।
Please mute. Please mute your mics, please. Okay, now is it okay, ma'am? Deepti ma'am, Anuradha ma'am. Please.
Ma'am, you're quite clear. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so mute yourself so that we proceed forward. So record your voice and listen to it. I said, please, there is someone, Sanjay Verma sir, please. I have muted your mic. I have muted your mic. Okay, sir? If you have to speak.
Disconnected. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So I said nobody likes to hear their own voice, but be brave and try it. Right? Record your voice and listen to your pronunciation and intonation. Sometimes it happens that there are messages on a flat basis. Suppose I am giving the message to the student, tomorrow you have to report at 8 o'clock. There is no variation in my voice. So if I listen to it again, I say, oh, what is this message? So I'll record it again. Right? Tomorrow you have to come at 8 o'clock. Now this would be something which would be effective. Okay.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Some other Anuradha ma'am is there. She has not muted her mic. Please ask her to mute. It's not mine. Some other Anuradha ma'am has joined there.
Okay, Anuradha ma'am, please mute your mic. Right? Okay. Should we move to the next one? Practice thinking in English. This is what we discussed. Deepti said, right? We have to think in English. You know, when I was doing B.Ed, my English teacher told me don't just speak in English or you just talk in English or write in English. She said that you even dream in English. So if you dream in English, you are not going to face any problem. Right? So speaking in English and thinking in English, there should be no translation. Right?
Yes.
What used to happen when we used to study, it was grammar translation method. So grammar was taught and translations were given, many sentences to translate, passages to translate. But now, as the structure of the languages are different, it is very difficult for the students to make these sentences. Right? Ram aam khata hai, Ram eats a mango. So aam pehle aayega ke khana pehle aayega. So it is a problem. Right? If we translate word by word, it is going to be very difficult. So make him learn in English, in Hindi, and then don't translate it. Just think that particular topic in English only. If he thinks in English, it will be very easy for him to speak, because that words do not have to be replaced. Right? You are not going to replace the Hindi word with the English word. So you are going to use it as it comes to you.
Ma'am, this is the major problem over here.
Yes. So we have to make them do it. So don't translate. Think of the English word. Think of the English word. Think of the English word. Repeatedly. Right? Now, I will see how to think in English. Right? There are 3 easy steps which you can tell to your students how to think. Right? Just now, Preeti ma'am said this is the problem. So I'll give you 3 easy steps. Give the students these 3 easy steps. Just ask them to make sentences in English. Day-to-day activities. What he did today. Right? Okay. Tell me, what do you want?
Daily routine. Daily routine.
Daily routine. Right.
Yes. Daily routine.
Yes.
Daily routine.
Yes, sir. Daily routine. And then ask him to prepare the sentence for conversation. Suppose I tell them, tomorrow we are going to have a discussion on the lesson Happy Prince. Okay. So prepare. So they are going to prepare. So how they are going to present it? Right? So this is preparing for any discussion. Right? And the third step is to recap the day. Let them summarize what they had done throughout the day. Right? If they do it, they are going to learn it. They are going to make use of English words. And if they are going to make use of English word, definitely, Preeti ma'am, they are going to improve. Right? Okay.
Yeah, surely. I do this conversation in my classes.
Right.
I use it conversation one.
Yes,
always.
conversation one. Right. How they discuss on a topic. Right.
Yeah, small topics I give them. Just
yes. Anyone else who uses all any one of the 3 steps? Anyone else?
I even ask them to make 5 sentences. Only 5 sentences on any topic I give them in the class.
Yes.
Not more than 5. Small sentence to be made.
Yes.
These two I do it. The first one and the second one.
Yes.
I always do it in the class.
Anyone else who can contribute in this?
Yes, ma'am. I also do this thing in my class.
Yeah,
I
Anuradha.
tell the students, I give them any topic or any topic of their choice or any of their daily routine or habit, whatever they think proper and whatever they feel comfortable, I let them speak on that.
Very good. Ma'am, this is not limited to English language. This is for all the languages, right? For all the subjects, not English only, but all the subjects. Even the science or social science, economics, accountancy, everything is having English. So we need the students to learn. Even if in social science subject we give the topics, they have to speak up. They have to use the English, right? So any teacher can use this. Any teacher can use this for improving the English of the students, right? Okay, number 6 is learn phrases, not just individual words. The phrases that you use will be helping you.
बोलो अच्छा चलो मैं बोल देता हूँ.
Yes, someone's mic is on, sir. Rajiv
हाँ
sir,
बेटा,
Rajiv sir,
दोनों को पकड़म पकड़ाई में चोर मत बना.
Rajiv sir, please mute your mic.
Rajiv sir is playing hide and seek. I think.
With the children. Such a wonderful game.
मैम आप म्यूट कर दीजिए. आप म्यूट कर दीजिए मैम अपने साइड से.
I'll have to find out ना राजीव. हो गया, म्यूट हो गया. Yes. Okay. Learn phrases, not just words. Like I would like to give the example. Yesterday we were having Nutan ma'am's session, and all of that, ma'am, wonderful, ma'am, beautiful, right? Ma'am, excellent performance. We all said this. We were using the words. Couldn't it have been, ma'am, you were wonderful, right? It was fantastic. If those phrases are used, we are going to use it in such a way that we are going to make impact, right? If you study individual English words in isolation, you'll have to think a lot in order to combine the individual words. So don't ask the students just to learn the words. Let him remember the phrases, right? If you focus on learning phrases, you'll have ready answers and responses. So if you ask the student one thing, and he will be ready with the answer in a phrase, if not a complete sentence, in a phrase, right? And this one, this is the most important one for the students, for everyone. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, right? Mistakes are the proof that you are learning, right? So don't be afraid to make mistakes. You are going to make the mistakes, but please keep in mind that if the students make a mistake, don't correct them while they are speaking. Point out the mistakes once they have completed whatever they are saying. If the answer is complete, then only point out, beta, this should have been this, right? So don't make them, don't correct them in between, because that is going to make them a bit more nervous, right? So boost them. Let them say whatever they want to say, and when they have finished, make them correct the mistakes that they have done, right? Good evening, Sangeeta ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am. Having tea.
Yeah, ma'am. Just enjoy the session.
Okay. All the best,
Another
ma'am.
phrase, having tea, a new phrase.
Okay. Next one is speak slowly, right? Speak slowly doesn't mean that you have to fumble. Don't fumble. Don't and right. Speak slowly.
Like Dr. Manmohan Singh, madam.
Like Manmohan Singh. No, not like Manmohan Singh, but don't fumble. Manmohan Singh to bilkul chup rehte the. आवाज ही नहीं निकलती थी, so let it be. But you have to speak. Okay, you have to give more time to think, right? If you speak slowly, you get some time to think. I think the meeting will be ending soon, right? So we'll rejoin on this. So it gives more time to think for what you are going to say, right? If you speak slowly, you can think of the words. The second importance of speaking slowly is that when you speak slowly, the person who is on the other side will understand what you are saying, right? If it is fast, it is difficult for the people to understand. Right? Okay. So you can speak faster if the person opposite you understands it. But if the person doesn't understand, we have to be slow, especially in the online classes, right? In the online classes, it is very important to be very slow, right? Sometimes they are having net problem and all this. So when we are speaking fast, they are not able to understand because they cannot read our lips, right? They are not able to see us. They are not able to read our lips. So if we speak slowly, they are going to grasp it faster, right? So speak slowly, and when you learn it, you can speak fast. Okay, naturally, when it comes with time, what it comes with time.
I have a question. I have a question, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Please, ma'am, if you allow.
Yes, Deepak, sir.
Actually, ma'am, it has crossed to 100 participants.
Oh,
Those who are waiting outside, is there any
no, sir.
arrangement?
No, sir. There is no arrangement
for them.
No, sir.
No, no. Yes.
No.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
If you forget a word, use other word. Now see, there are 4 arrows which I have used. Okay, this is to show a single word: intelligent, clever, bright, and smart. So I want you to use, I will ask you to blow your own trumpet. Speak something about yourself without disclosing the actual word. Okay. Suppose I want to say that I'm very neat. Oh, I live in a very safe manner so that no germs come near me. Right? Can you frame a sentence like this? Where you don't say the actual word, but we will guess it.
I can complete my work very fastly.
Yes, you are very smart. Yes, anyone else? Anyone else?
I give things to needy people.
You are philanthropic.
Thank you.
Yes, yes, sir.
I am a smart worker, not a hard worker.
You are a smart worker. You are very intelligent, sir.
I want to do my work to the minutest detail.
You are perfectionist.
Thank you, ma'am.
I never miss my bus.
Oh, you are very
As
punctual.
every day I am on time.
You are punctual. Very good.
I can solve any problem very quickly.
You are troubleshooter, Bulbul, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes. Anyone?
I can manage
I am
the
a
things very
problem
well.
shooter for my friends.
Yes, sir. Lalan,
I
sir?
am a problem shooter for my friend circle.
You are a troubleshooter.